this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. Today's card is inspired by a video by Sam Calcott from 2 years ago. And I bought some supplies 2 years ago to create this card and never did. So the other day it popped up in my screenshots and I thought I should have a go at this and create it. She actually created a 10-fold card. I'm going to link to her video below, but I decided to do mine slightly different. As I said, it's just inspired by her video. And what she did is she created like I want to call it a conservatory, or like a, well, it's like a window with plants behind it. And I'm a bit of a, I don't want to call myself lazy, but I like a shortcut. So when I saw her video 2 years ago, and I found these stickers, I think just at Poundland or B&M Home Bargains, I thought, yes, these would be very useful. But they're still in the wrapper. I haven't even unpacked them. So today I will have a go at this card. If you haven't got, I've got these old cactus stickers, or as I said, she used stamps. You can do that as well. But you can also get these at the moment. They're from Poundland, I believe. So you've got like sweets, so you don't have to do that with plants. You can create like a bakery shop. I've also got a few birdies here that I thought I might combine with these, but I'm not sure yet. So it doesn't really matter what embellishments you use. So for the actual card, you need some sturdy cardstock for the back. I'm just using my usual 300 GSM from UK Crafts. And because my stickers, let them pop in again, have got this holographic background, I thought it would be good to stick them onto some holographic cardstock. And when I was looking through my stash, I found this one here, but I also found this small holographic cardstock in green. So I decided to go for that. I think that will be quite nice, quite bold, but yeah, I think I like it. So, and because I like green combined with orange, and we've got lots of orange here in the plant pots, I will use some orange cardstock. This is fairly thin. I'd say maybe just 150, but this is just to embellish the front, so we don't need this to be super sturdy. And for the front we need some acetate, and for that I've actually got some acetate here from some visors. As you might be able to see, I took all the foam off. Or it's another piece here. This is from some packaging. This is from the shaker cards I made in my Christmas and July series, but it's got a few sort of indentations where the shaker cards were stored, so I'm not quite sure how well that would work. So I think I'll go for this one now, but this is useful for smaller shaker cards when I just need a small piece of acetate. So let me make some space on my table and I'll show you what we do. Because my stickers are fairly high, I would like to cut my card base to 6 by 6. You could make it bigger. I personally don't like to make special envelopes, but you could also have it as a 5 by 7 card. It's really up to you. There is no limitations there. I'm going to quickly cut this off camera because my guillotine is quite noisy, but I will cut the card base and the acetate to the same size. 2 little tips for cutting the acetate. If you use a visor, cut this bit off first. That didn't cut off nicely because it's a double layer of acetate. So I cut that off with my scissors and then I could cut it. And then the other tip is, if you've got any offcuts of acetate, keep them. So you can't even see them on the camera, I think, because they're useful for making smaller strips if you want to put some embellishments like flowers or so onto cards. You can basically dangle them off the top there. I will create a card soon actually that needs these little strips of acetate. To create my conservatory shape now, I want to cut a little roof here, and what I do is I just pick a point here where I think I want the shape, just here, and I'm just going to cut across. I'm not measuring this I will just use my scissors and cut across like this. So, and because I haven't measured and I want the other side to be the same, I'm just placing this piece here on here, this way round, and then cut along here. You can draw it again if you wanted to, but I will just do it like this. And then I've got equal corners there. And then I need to do the same on the acetate, so I'm just laying this on top, and because it's square, that's very easy to do. I'll actually turn it over and cut it along here. That's very easy. All you need to do is some good scissors that cut in a straight line. There we go. And that's the shape of our conservatory. Sorry about the glare here from that lamp. I'll turn it over a little bit. It's 9:30 in the morning and the weather outside is horrendous. It's August, but we've got proper November weather, no daylight at all. So that's why I had to put all my lights on here. So to embellish the front of the conservatory, we need some paper strips. So I'm just, oh, I thought I just picked up the white one. That's obviously rubbish. I wanted to use the orange cardstock. So I'm going to cut some strips here. I think about 1/4 of an inch wide, but I want to show you how you easily can do that in your guillotine, because I always find it a bit tricky to cut them. So let me just zoom in a little bit and let me get the light on that. So because I can't see the 1/4 of an inch here, what I do is usually the card is, this one's 11 and a bit. So what I would do, we don't need a lot. Let me just cut this down to 5. Again, apologies for the noise because it is quite noisy. So I've got this now at 5 inches, and now I'm just moving it over to 4 3/4, and that gives me 1/4 of an inch strip. I'm just thinking whether I actually wanted 1/4, is that too thin? Whether I want it a bit wider. I could do it, I think 1/2 is too wide. I could do in between, whatever that is. I'm not very good with inches. So between 1/2 inch and 1/4 of an inch, whatever that is, I think I go for that. So I'm basically moving it over here, and then that's so much easier to see. So next one, I need to put it at 4 1/4, and then I've got the same. I hope that makes sense to you. So in my head, I'm just moving it over 1/4 and the other bit. I'll find out in 5, and then to 3 1/2, and then I've got equal strips. So the number of strips, that's really up to you. Let me just zoom out again. I would like to have a few strips here at the front. Let me just think about. I still want to be able to see the cacti through it, but I need strips for all the way around. I need strips for, well, basically the sides, and then maybe 2 here and 2 there. So let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I'd say 7 strips, but I'll find out in a moment. As you can see, as always, I haven't made this card before, so that's why I'm still guesstimating at the moment. So I'd say 7 strips, and these at the moment are 8 1/4 because I'm cutting them from the A4 sheet. So I've got my strips, I've got my acetate here. I put the paper underneath the white cardstock so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just using some double-sided tape. And I think rather than putting the double-sided tape on the strips, it will be better to put them onto the acetate. So what I'm doing is I'm going to place it at the bottom of the acetate here. And this tape is slightly thinner than the strips I've cut. Don't want it to be too wide. And I can peel it off then. So she always struggling with tape. So make sure when you struggle to peel the release paper off to burnish it properly, And then actually the tweezers are usually better than my fingernails to peel it off. I'm keeping this in real time, so if you're a beginner you know that this can happen. Also, I find with cheaper tape this is more likely to happen than better quality tape. There we go. So when I've peeled it off, let me pop it on the white again, you might be able to see it a little bit better. I'm just putting one of my strips across here, making sure I'm lining it up properly on the edges. Actually, take that away, it's a bit more difficult to see then. So I'm hovering it over the top and then I'm pressing it down. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So, and I can now cut off the remainders here on the edge. So what I will do off camera now, because I don't want you to bore this with this, I will do the same again here on the sides. I've got a bit of a level. I'm just thinking whether I want to overlap it or place it here. I probably will actually place it here. Just thinking how I create the top, whether that will be overlapping. Because I've got thin cardstock, that won't allow, that will show. Let me think. No, I think what I will do first, I will put this one across first, and then I think I will create the top, because at the top what I will do is I want to place it here on the edge here. Let me just put this here again, but I will have to cut it down first, I think. So I think I'll probably start with the middle one, place just a little strip down here, cut it before I stick it on, then create these bits, and then I think I will place this one down. I'll have to figure out, I think I'll come back for that to show you how to cut that angle, but I think I'll do that first. One more thing before I show you that, in order to put the middle strip down straight, use your grid here on the mat. So I'm aligning this here, and then I know where to put my strip down. So I have stuck these strips down, but I forgot that I wanted to have two strips going down here, and ideally I would have stuck them down before I stuck down these, but never mind, I think I'll just leave them. Might be in the way anyway a little bit of the cacti that I want to stick down. But I just wanted to show you this from the back. Now these bits, because I just put them across, they are not attached yet, so I need to cut these down a little bit for this one strip to go across here. So I don't really want to cut off too much, just in case this is not covering, but just a little bit, these basically this little bit of overhang. So, and then I will put another strip across here off the tape going straight, take a longer one actually that I can then cut off like this, and then I will place strips of tape across here and across there and place it over there. So mine will overlap against my original plan, but I think it'll be nice. You get a better result if you have thicker cardstock than this, because that will definitely show where I'm going over this level. So I have stuck the side ones down. I don't know if the camera picks it up. It's not too bad, this difference in height, but as I said, if you want to avoid that, the best thing is to use thicker cardstock. For the top one though, rather than putting the tape on this now, I have placed the tape on a bigger piece here, because then I know it will definitely cover the other strips there and will be wide enough. So I'm just peeling this off there and we'll place that across here. I'll do this off camera again because it will just involve fiddling again. Don't do what I did. Make sure your piece is wide enough. I placed it down too short because you want this whole bit to be covered. So I've just peeled mine off again. I damaged the cardstock a little bit, but not too bad. So I will take a much longer piece going at least this wide, and then I know that these bits are definitely covered. It covered at the top, but it didn't cover it properly at the bottom, so you need to plan for that as well. So, and now that I've placed this down, I can cut along the edges here just with my scissors, and then that's my card front covered, and then it will look very neat even from the back. I think it's nice with the clear tape here. If you're bothered about the look of the back, you can cover this as well, but it doesn't really matter because the recipient won't see that, and I'll show you in a moment how we attach that. What I have forgotten though is to cut another piece of this size in the green metallic cardstock, because we need that to put our cacti on. I am not particularly happy with the finish here at the top. I'm contemplating whether I want to fill the gaps here and put another another 2 strips here over this, and basically finish it off here. I think I might do that. My idea is to just have a little strip here, or maybe even across there, that I can mark with my pencil where it needs to go. Let me just zoom in so you know what I'm doing. And if you think she hasn't got a clue what she's doing, this is how I make my videos. I sometimes work it out whilst I'm creating it. Well, that's the joy of it. So I would cut 2 strips like this, one to go across here, one to go across here into the gaps, and then I will cut strips that actually, I'm not bothered about this end, but that will go straight down like this. I think this would look so much better for the finish. And because I'm working now paper on paper or cardstock on cardstock, I can just use my liquid glue if I wanted to. I'll have a think about that because it might actually warp the cardstock. So anyway, I'll have a little think. So the other thing I wanted to show you, and I'm zooming out again, is I've cut my green piece here, but when I lay it over, I found, although I used the same templates here, I found it overlapped a little bit at the top. So check yours before you stick it down. You might have to cut this down a little bit because that would look awkward. So I just wanted to show you that. Heating this up, it's better to have it a little bit too short than it overhanging. So I just need to do that again. Not so much at the bottom, is not so much a problem, but at the top it would look really, really weird. There we go. So to attach these 2 bases, we need, well, I want to create something like I think you call it a springy box card. So what I have done is I have cut 2 strips from the orange cardstock. I wrote down the measurements here. So I measured the height of this here, and that was just under 5 1/4. So these strips are just under 5 1/4 by 1 1/2. You could have the width of your strip, but because this is this funny measurement, I just went for 1/4. And I scored these strips at 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1 and 1 1/4. And that gives me these quarter score lines, and I made it into a concertina fold. So I've made it a valley, mountain, valley, mountain, valley. And this gives me this sort of spring box effect. And what I will do is, once I've sorted the front here, I will stick these again with some tape. This time I'm using some thinner tape, which I've got somewhere on my table. Oh, it's hiding under the cardstock. So I will attach these here on the back, but I won't stick them down on this cardstock yet because we need to embellish this. And this will give me some nice depth, and that would look really nice. But because it's a spring thing, it will fold quite flat in an envelope, which is nice. So as I said, I will sort this quickly off camera. I will glue these down again, yeah, with the tape, I mentioned that. And then I'll show you how we embellish this bit. So I just wanted to show you this. I'm much happier now with the finish here, that I've put another strip here and the 2 strips there. But a little tip from me, because I did it the wrong way around: put the straight piece on first and then put these on the side. It was a bit of a bummer to make this really fit in the middle there. The other thing where I made a little boo-boo is when I put these strips here on the side, this one I raised it a little bit too much, and I don't know if the camera picks it up. It peeps out a little bit here, but it's not a problem. I can unfold this again here and actually cut it down just a millimetre or 2. It's not a problem, nobody will know, and then it won't overhang. I can just cut it at a little angle there, so when I fold it up again it'll be fine. There we go, that's well hidden now. So if you're not sure about this, keep them a little bit shorter. You don't need the full height for the bouncy effect. Another thing I didn't mention is, before we stick this all down, give this a good wipe. Make sure you don't have any fingerprints on the back. I just used just a cloth I have here normally for cleaning my stamps, but it'll work as well for that. Ideally you have got a clean one. So before I embellish this now, I need to find out where this line is, because I think the best thing would be to have the shelf for the cacti on the same height, so we don't hide them too much. So if I place this on my cardstock here, sorry, on my grid mat, this is just between 2.5 and 3 inches, so I know where I need to place my little shelf. And I think for that, I don't want to use another orange one. I will just use some leftover of my white cardstock here that I cut off, and that will just create the shelf. I'm contemplating whether I want to dry emboss that, but most of it will be hidden by this bar anyway, so I think I won't bother. What I had forgotten though is, I don't want this white strip to be as wide, so not 6 inches, because I don't want this to interfere with when we're sticking this down. So I'm just measuring the in-between here, and that is 5 1/4, so that's the width of this strip that I want. Because I'm working on mirror card here, I'm just using my sticky tape again to place this down. So all I've done now here is actually, rather than measuring it such, I've placed it next to that bit, and I want to place it so that a little bit of the white strip is over that orange one and a little bit under. And I'm just eyeballing this, leaving enough space on either side. I'm just sticking this down. So now what I have to do is pick some of these cacti. So I've got quite a few large ones. I think the large ones, no, that would actually work. I think I will have this smiley big one in the middle. I hope they come off nicely. So I've had these for a few years. Oh yeah, just peeling something off underneath. So, and I will not place it over that strip, as in overlapping. I will literally sit it on the top there. I'm not too bothered about this. Got it overlapping just a little bit, but I can use my fingernail to flatten it down. And I like how the silver actually quite nicely blends into the background paper. So what I will do off camera now is fill this a little bit, probably just have a cactus on either side, and then 3 at the bottom. I think that will be enough. So I have stuck my cacti down. I created another little shelf here at the bottom, but this is a thinner strip, so that was, I think, 3/4, yeah, and this is just a 1/2 inch. But although I measured it and is a bit mind-boggling, this is 5 1/4 wide. These strips are 5 1/4 wide, but maybe I should have moved them over a little bit. But when I place this on the top, I've got a little gap here on either side. So what I've done is I've just cut another 2 strips, and I will just cut these a little bit wider and just place them over the top, and then that will be hidden. But I just wanted to show you this. Sometimes these things happen and it's fine. It's fine. So I'll quickly do this off camera. As I said, I will just give this a little wipe from the back, and then I will take the release paper off, place this here on this side, just like this, and then take the release paper off and take this off here. I will not do this on camera because I need to concentrate. It will be a little bit fiddly, but it's doable, I think. So yeah, I'll come back and I might even have a tip for you then how to do it. Okay, I changed my mind. I will show you. For the first side, I actually decided to unfold this concertina again and to then place this, turn this over and place this on here. I can see now, let me just zoom in a little bit as well. I can see where I've got my sticky tape. I can line that up with a score line and then just place it down like this. And that should be fine then. It is. So, and with the other side, I'm wondering whether I can sort of shove it over and flatten it out, whether that would be easier. Definitely, I think unfolding helps a little bit because you've got less bounce there then, and it'll be easier to handle this. I wonder if you could use some liquid glue. You definitely could if this was a mirror card. Just placing my head over this. Try not to get my fingers in the way, and also not to shift it and have it at the bottom of the card. So I might overlap a little bit now at the top or the bottom. So if I put the concertinas back in, I think that will be fine. If you've got a bit of overlap, you can always cut it down a little bit. I've got a little bit at the bottom that I could just neaten up a tiny little bit with my scissors. Nobody will know, just that little bit. And I think this will be fine. And can you see the dimension in this? Yeah, so you've got this springy box card basically, but it folds fairly flat. So all we need to do now is to attach the back piece to the front. Let me just find it. Placed it away. So if I had planned ahead and my brain would have worked earlier, I would have left this a little bit wider and put a score line in this, but I didn't, which is not a problem. I've just cut a little piece of cardstock here. This is just under 5 1/4, same as the springy bits were, so that will fit here. And this is, yeah, 1 inch wide. What I'm going to do quickly off camera is to score this at a half, and then I'm just placing it behind that piece here. I really don't want it on the inside because this is where I will put my greeting, and then I can just simply adhere the other bit on this here so that it actually folds open. So my card's almost finished, but because I've got this extra dimension here of the folded strip here, this whole back card shifts over a little bit to the side, so I need to trim it down just a little bit there and a little bit there, and I'll quickly do this off camera with my scissors. But yeah, I think this is really, really cute. I'm not putting on a sentiment just yet because I found recently sometimes I need a thank you card, sometimes a birthday card, or even a get well soon card, and I think this would work for all of these occasions. Yeah, I think this is really, really cute. And you obviously can stand it up like this, and got the, as I said, the 4 dimension there, which is really, really cute. Not sure whether this is what I had envisioned 2 years ago when I bought these stickers, but yeah, I think it's good fun. And if you think so too, you might want to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And I'll see you soon with another video.